You're not underpaid. You're being paid exactly what your position allows. And that's why nothing has changed. And the harder you work, the more stable it becomes. Because the system rewards consistency, even when it's pointed in the wrong direction. And that's what locks people in. Because nothing forces you to stop. Nothing interrupts the pattern. Nothing tells you to change direction. So you keep going. Because nothing feels urgent. Nothing forces a decision. Nothing makes you question the path you're on. So you continue. And continuation becomes your default. And that's the part most engineers don't want to hear. Because it's easier to believe that something is wrong, that the system is unfair, that you're being undervalued, because that removes responsibility. And as long as you believe that, you never have to change anything. But nothing is broken. The system is working exactly as designed. It's just not working in your favor, because income is not based on effort. It's not based on how hard you work. It's not based on how much you know. It's based on where you sit, inside the system. And right now, you're sitting in a layer that has a limit. You can feel it, even if you don't say it. Raises get smaller. Opportunities look the same. Growth slows down. Nothing really changes, even as you improve. That's not random. That's structure. And structure does not respond to effort. It defines how effort gets valued, which means you can push harder and still get the same outcome, just more efficiently, which means you can double your effort and still stay in the same range, just with more output. You're operating in execution, where value is distributed, where work is shared, where output scales across teams. And when something scales, its value per unit drops, even if the system depends on it, even if it's critical, even if you're good at it. Because the system can replace execution, it can distribute it, it can train it, it can scale it. And when it can do that, it doesn't pay a premium for it, because premium is reserved for scarcity. And execution is not scarce, it's scalable. And anything that scales eventually gets standardized. That's why your income feels capped, not because you're not good enough, but because the system doesn't need more people at that level. It needs fewer people at a different one, where decisions happen, where systems are defined, where outcomes are controlled. That's where income changes, not gradually, but structurally. And most engineers never move there, not because they can't, but because they stay where they're comfortable, where work is clear, where expectations are defined, where success is measurable, execution feels productive, leverage feels uncertain, so they stay and improve inside the same layer. And that's where the trap completes. Because improvement inside a limit does not remove the limit, it reinforces it. Because the system starts to depend on you there, and the more it depends on you, the less it needs to move you. You get faster, more efficient, more reliable, more trusted. But all of that only makes you more valuable inside the same ceiling. The longer you stay, the more you specialize. The more you specialize, the harder it becomes to leave. Because now your value is tied to that layer, and not to the next one. And that's where it locks in. Because now your trajectory depends on it. Your experience reinforces it. Your reputation reflects it. And the system starts to recognize you as part of that layer. And once that happens, you're no longer seen as someone who can move. You're seen as someone who should stay. You're now too experienced to go backwards, but not positioned to move forward, so you stay. And your salary reflects that, not unfairly, accurately. And that's the part most people avoid, because accepting it means you have to change direction, not just improve. And changing direction means uncertainty, means risk, means stepping into something you're not fully ready for, which most people delay, until it becomes harder, until staying becomes easier, and easier becomes permanent. Because at some point, you're no longer choosing to stay. You're simply no longer positioned to leave. There is also a compounding effect. Every year you stay, you reinforce the same trajectory. Every year you reinforce it, you reduce your options. Until eventually, this is no longer a phase. It's your position. This difference compounds over time. Hundreds of thousands across a career, lost without realizing it. Because nothing feels wrong, it just feels stable. And that's what makes this expensive. Not immediately, but over time. Because slow loss is harder to detect than failure. If you understand this, you don't just improve. You stop doing what keeps you in place. Because this doesn't fix itself, and it doesn't change with time. It stabilizes, until this becomes your range. Not temporarily, but permanently. If you want the full system behind this, it's in the description.